AIKA for refusing to be the best man at my twin brother's wedding after he proposed to my ex? I, 27M, have an identical twin brother, Ryan. Growing up, we were inseparable. We did everything together, same schools, same hobbies, even the same friend groups. It was one of those twin relationships where people joked that we could read each other's minds. I always assumed we'd stay just as close into adulthood, but over the past few years, things have changed, mostly because of one person, Emily, 26F, my ex. The backstory: about 3 years ago, Emily and I were in a serious relationship. We had been together for nearly 2 years, and I genuinely thought she was the one. We had even started talking about getting engaged. Nothing official, just those late-night conversations about the future, marriage, and kids. I was in love with her, and at the time, I believed she felt the same way. Then, out of nowhere, Emily sat me down and told me she wasn't ready for a serious commitment. She said she loved me, but she wasn't in the right place for marriage. She needed space, time to grow, and wasn't sure if she saw a long-term future with me. I was devastated. It felt like the rug had been pulled out from under me, but I respected her decision. I was heartbroken, but I tried to move on. I threw myself into work, spent more time with friends, and even dated casually. But deep down, Emily was always the one that got away. The bombshell. Fast forward to last month. Ryan and I were grabbing dinner together when he suddenly dropped a bomb on me. He's engaged to Emily. At first, I thought I had misheard him. Wait, what? I said, staring at him in disbelief. Ryan hesitated but then told me everything. Apparently, he and Emily started seeing each other about a year after she and I broke up. They kept it a secret because they didn't want to hurt me. And now, they were engaged. I felt like I had been punched in the gut. For an entire year, my own brother had been sneaking around with the woman I once thought I would marry. They hid their relationship from me, knowing how deeply I had loved her. And now, they expected me to smile, be happy for them, and, get this, Ryan wanted me to be his best man. I laughed, not because it was funny, but because it was so absurd I didn't know how else to react. Are you serious? I asked. Ryan got defensive immediately, saying he understood that this was a shock, but that I needed to grow up and let go of the past. He told me I should be happy for him, that love works in mysterious ways, and that Emily had moved on. So why couldn't I? I told him there was absolutely no way I could stand up there, smiling, watching him marry the woman I had been in love with. It would be torture. Ryan accused me of being petty and immature. He said I was holding on to a dead relationship and that it shouldn't matter anymore. When I refused again, he stormed out of the restaurant. Family drama ensues. The next day, our parents called me. They had already heard everything from Ryan and were now calling to tell me I needed to be the bigger person and support my brother's happiness. Love works in mysterious ways, my mom said, repeating Ryan's words like they had rehearsed this together. My dad chimed in with, "You need to let go of the past. It's been years. You're punishing Ryan for something he didn't do to hurt you." I lost it. Are you guys serious right now? He's marrying my ex. He had IT for me for an entire year. And now you expect me to smile and stand next to him while he marries the woman I once planned to propose to. Mom sighed. We just don't want to see this ruin your relationship with Ryan. He's your brother. No, I snapped. He ruined our relationship the second he started sneaking around with Emily. They tried to guilt-trip me some more, but I wasn't budging. I told them I wasn't going to be the best man. I wasn't even sure if I could attend the wedding at all. That, of course, set off another round of "you'll regret this," and family is everything. I hung up. The aftermath. Ryan and I haven't spoken much since our argument. Wedding planning is in full swing, and from what I hear through mutual friends, Emily is acting like everything is fine. Some of my friends are backing me up, saying Ryan was completely out of line to even ask me to be his best man. But others are saying I should suck it up, attend the wedding, and just be happy for them. I feel like I'm stuck. If I refuse to go, I look like the bitter, jealous twin. But if I go, I feel like I'm betraying myself and setting myself up for emotional torture. So, AITA for refusing to be Ryan's best man? Would I be the AH if I didn't even attend the wedding? Update 1. The first confrontation. After my initial conversation with Ryan, things remained tense for a few weeks. I had mostly avoided family gatherings, knowing that my parents would just try to pressure me into changing my mind. But last weekend, I finally saw Ryan again at our cousin's birthday party. It was the first time we had been in the same room since the big blow-up. At first, we avoided each other. I stayed on one side of the room, he stayed on the other. But eventually, he cornered me near the drinks table. "Look, can we just talk?" he asked, looking frustrated but trying to keep his voice low. "There's nothing to talk about, Ryan," I said, trying to walk away. He blocked my path. "This is ridiculous. You're my brother. You're seriously going to throw away our relationship over a girl." That's when I lost it. It's not just a girl, Ryan. It's my ex. It's the woman I loved. And you've been sneaking around with her for a year behind my back. You don't think that's messed up? Ryan rolled his eyes. "Dude, you need to move on. It's been 3 years. Emily and I are happy. Why can't you just be happy for us?" I let out a humorless laugh. "Happy? You want me to be happy while you marry the woman I once planned to spend my life with? Do you have any idea how messed up that is?" Ryan crossed his arms. "So, what? You're just going to cut me out of your life over this?" "Maybe," I said honestly, "because right now I don't know how to look at you the same way." He scoffed, shaking his head. "Unbelievable. You're choosing to be bitter instead of being my brother." "No, Ryan. You chose this the second you got with Emily." He stormed off after that. Later that night, I got a text from our mom. "You two need to work this out. This has gone on long enough." I ignored it. At this point, I don't know if there's anything left to work out. After the confrontation with Ryan at our cousin's birthday party, the tension in our family exploded. The next morning, I woke up to a flurry of messages in the family group chat. Apparently, Ryan had vented to our parents again about how I was ruining the family over something that happened years ago. My mom had taken his side as expected, sending me a long text about how life is too short to hold grudges and how brothers should always support each other, no matter what. I ignored it. Then my dad called. "Son, we need to talk," he said, using his serious dad voice. I sighed. "Is this about the wedding?" "Because I'm not changing my mind, Dad." "You don't have to be his best man," he said. "But not going at all? That's extreme. Your mother is devastated that her sons are fighting like this." "Dad, would you have gone to your brother's wedding if he married your ex?" I challenged. Silence. I pressed on. "Because that's exactly what's happening here. This isn't about some small disagreement. This is about respect. And Ryan clearly doesn't respect me." My dad sighed heavily. "I get it. I do. But at the end of the day, Ryan is still your brother." "Yeah, well, he sure doesn't act like it," I muttered. He didn't have a response to that. Then, to my surprise, my aunt, my dad's sister, called me later that day. "Hey, sweetie, I just wanted to check in. I heard what's going on, and I just want you to know you're not crazy for feeling this way." That stopped me in my tracks. "Wait, you don't think I'm being dramatic?" I asked. She snorted. "Absolutely not. What Ryan did was low. And the fact that he kept it a secret for a year, that tells you everything. If he truly believed what he was doing was okay, why hide it?" That hit me hard. She was right. If Ryan and Emily truly thought their relationship was normal and harmless, why did they sneak around for an entire year before telling me? "Look," my aunt continued, "people can fall in love unexpectedly, sure. But when that love comes at the cost of hurting family, There are consequences. You don't owe Ryan anything. If you're not comfortable at that wedding, don't go. For the first time in weeks, I felt like someone actually understood where I was coming from. Of course, my aunt voicing her support led to even more family drama because, apparently, she told my mom off for forcing me to be the bigger person. My mom then texted me again saying, "I can't believe you're turning family against each other." I didn't even respond. Ryan and I still weren't speaking. At this point, I was fully leaning toward not attending the wedding at all. But I knew the situation wasn't over yet. A few weeks passed, and I kept my distance from Ryan and most of the family. I needed space to think, to process, and, honestly, to cool off from the absolute insanity of it all. Then, out of nowhere, a wedding invitation arrived in the mail. At first, I thought maybe it was an olive branch, some sort of peace offering, a sign that Ryan and Emily wanted me there without forcing me to be part of the wedding party. But when I opened it, my stomach twisted. There was a handwritten note inside from Ryan. "I know you're upset, but I really hope you'll reconsider. This is one of the most important days of my life, and I want my brother there. Family is forever." I just stared at it, feeling a mix of anger and disbelief. After everything, after the lying, the secrecy, the way he dismissed my feelings, he was now trying to guilt-trip me into coming? Not even 10 minutes after I got the invitation, Ryan called. "Did you get it?" he asked, his voice unusually chipper, as if he was pretending like we hadn't been avoiding each other for weeks. "Yeah," I said flatly. "So, are you coming?" I let out a bitter laugh. "Ryan, I already told you, I can't do this. I'm not coming to your wedding." His tone immediately shifted. "Dude, come onorevole. It's been 3 years. You're seriously still mad about this?" "It's not just about Emily," I snapped. "It's about you. You betrayed me, Ryan. You kept this from me for a year. You knew it was wrong, or you wouldn't have hidden it." Ryan scoffed. "Oh my God. I didn't tell you right away because I didn't want to deal with your overreaction. Look at you now, proving me right. That set me off. Are you hearing yourself right now? You literally went behind my back, dated someone you knew I was in love with, kept it a secret, and now you're acting like I'm the problem? Are you even capable of taking responsibility for anything?" Silence. Then Ryan said something that solidified my decision. "If you don't come to my wedding, don't expect to be my brother anymore." I felt like the air had been knocked out of my lungs. "Excuse me," I said, my voice deadly calm. "You heard me," Ryan continued. "If you skip my wedding over some high school level drama, then we're done. I'm not going to waste my time on someone who can't be happy for me." I exhaled slowly, gripping the phone. "Well then, I guess we're done," I said. Ryan was stunned. He stammered for a second before yelling, "You're seriously choosing to throw away our relationship over this?" "No, Ryan," I said, my voice firm. "You made that choice when you decided to betray me and then act like I was crazy for not being okay with it." I hung up. That was the last time we spoke. I texted my parents and told them I would not be attending the wedding and that if they tried to guilt-trip me about it, I would be going low contact with them as well. My mom tried calling 8 times. I didn't pick up. At that point, I was fully at peace with my decision. But apparently, things were far from over. After my final conversation with Ryan, I felt a strange sense of relief, like a weight had been lifted. I had finally stood my ground. No more guilt, no more obligation to pretend I was okay with what he did. But if I thought the drama was over, I was dead wrong. A few days later, my phone blew up with messages from extended family members, cousins, aunts, uncles, people I hadn't even spoken to in months, suddenly reaching out to tell me I was overreacting and that I needed to put family first. I quickly realized that Ryan and my parents had been running a full-blown PR campaign against me. They were telling everyone that I was boycotting the wedding out of bitterness and jealousy. One of my aunts even had the audacity to message me, "Sweetheart, I know it must be hard seeing Ryan so happy while you're still single, but one day you'll find someone too. Don't let this ruin your bond with your brother. I almost threw my phone at the wall. This wasn't about me being single. This was about betrayal. I had moved on from Emily. What I hadn't moved on from was the utter disrespect from my own twin brother. But the real punch to the gut? My parents threatened to uninvite me from future family events if I didn't go to the wedding. I got a text from my mom that night saying, "I hope you'll reconsider. If you don't come, things won't be the same anymore. We won't force you, but just know that it will be difficult to welcome you back into the family after this." Excuse me? So, let me get this straight. Ryan gets to betray me, lie to me, date my ex in secret, and I'm the one being pushed out of the family for not supporting it? At this point, I was done playing nice. I replied, "If attending Ryan's wedding is the price for being part of the family, then I guess I'm out. Have a great time." No response. The unexpected betrayal. At this point, I thought I knew where everyone stood. Ryan and my parents had made it clear that they were willing to cut me off for not supporting the wedding. My extended family was mostly taking their side, though a few people had quietly messaged me saying they understood my position but didn't want to get involved. But then came the betrayal I never saw coming. My best friend, Mark. Mark and I have been best friends since high school. He was one of the only people who had supported me throughout this whole mess, constantly reassuring me that I wasn't crazy for feeling hurt. Then, 2 weeks before the wedding, I saw something on social media that made my stomach drop. Mark was one of Ryan's groomsmen. I immediately texted him, "Are you serious?" A few minutes later, he replied, "Look, man, I didn't want to get in the middle of this. Ryan asked me months ago, and I didn't know how to say no." Bullshit. You had no problem telling me that what he did was wrong, but now you're standing up there with him like everything is fine? Mark's response was pure cowardice. I don't want to pick sides. You're both my friends." I was shaking with rage. He's not just some friend, Mark. He's my twin brother, and he stabbed me in the back. You said yourself it was messed up. So why are you still doing this? Mark had no real answer. He just kept repeating how he didn't want drama and hoped we could all move past it someday. I cut him off right then and there. I wasn't losing people. I was removing the ones who didn't respect me. The wedding day came and went, and I wasn't there. I didn't call. I didn't text. I didn't acknowledge it in any way. But that didn't mean the drama was over. The wedding disaster. Even though I had gone full no contact with Ryan, my parents, and Mark, I still had a few mutual friends and extended family members who attended the wedding. And let's just say, things did not go as smoothly as Ryan and Emily had hoped. For starters, people noticed I wasn't there. A lot of family members had assumed that I would eventually cave and show up at the last minute. But when I didn't, it apparently became the elephant in the room. During the reception, one of my uncles, who had been on my side, straight up confronted Ryan about it. According to what I heard later, the conversation went something like this. "Uncle, so where's your brother?" Ryan, clearly irritated. He chose not to come. "Untle? Ho? Wonder why that is." Ryan tried to brush it off, but it became a topic of gossip throughout the night. Some of my extended relatives, who had previously been neutral, started putting two and two together. And then the real bombshell dropped. At some point during the reception, Emily's maid of honor got drunk and let something slip. Apparently, Emily never actually wanted to marry Ryan. She had settled for him. The maid of honor, in her drunken wisdom, said this in front of several guests. She allegedly told a group of people that Emily had admitted years ago that I was the one that got away. I couldn't believe it when I heard Emily, who had dumped me because she wasn't ready for commitment, had somehow still held feelings for me even after all this time. And Ryan, he was her second choice. From what I was told, this spread like wildfire at the wedding. Guests started whispering. Some of Emily's family members looked uncomfortable. And Ryan, he was livid. Apparently, After hearing what the maid of honor had said, he confronted Emily in the bridal suite. Nobody knows exactly what was said, but they were arguing for a long time. By the end of the night, Ryan was drunk, sulking at the bar, and Emily was nowhere to be seen. The aftermath. The next morning, my phone started blowing up again. But this time, it was Ryan. I let his first few calls go to voicemail. Then I got a text. "I hope you're happy. You ruined my wedding." Excuse me? I wasn't even there. I replied, "How exactly did I ruin your wedding from my own apartment?" A minute later, he called again. This time, I answered. "Ryan, angry, you told people not to come, didn't you? You were spreading lies about Emily." Me, "Dude, I haven't spoken to anyone about your wedding. Maybe you should be asking Emily why your own best man was saying she still had feelings for me." Ryan went silent. Then, after a few moments, he muttered, "She doesn't." That was taken out of context. I laughed. Right. Totally normal for someone's best friend to drunkenly announce at their wedding that the bride actually wanted her fiancé's twin brother. Ryan cursed under his breath. "Just admit it," I said. "She settled for you. And now you're realizing it in real time." He hung up, going no contact for good. After that phone call, I knew there was no salvaging our relationship. Ryan had made his choice years ago when he betrayed me, and now he was paying for it. I didn't feel bad for him. For months, he had tried to gaslight me into thinking I was a problem, that I was bitter, immature, and jealous, that I was overreacting and holding a grudge. Turns out, he was the one living in denial. In the following weeks, my parents begged me to make amends with Ryan. I refused. Ryan and Emily went on their honeymoon, but multiple people said they seemed tense the entire time. Mark tried to reach out to me again. I blocked him. Several extended relatives who had sided with Ryan at first apologized after hearing what happened at the wedding. At this point, I was fully done. I told my parents that unless Ryan came to me with a real apology, which I knew would never happen, I wasn't interested in hearing about his life. I moved on. Final update. Karma always wins. A few months later, I got a call from my aunt, the one who had supported me from the start. She wasn't calling about the wedding drama. She was calling to tell me that Emily and Ryan were having major issues. Apparently, Emily had been reconnecting with an old college boyfriend behind Ryan's back. Ryan had caught her texting him late at night and lost it. They had only been married for 4 months, and already, their relationship was crumbling. I wasn't surprised. Ryan built his relationship on betrayal and expected it to last. Emily left me because she wasn't ready for commitment, then immediately jumped into another serious relationship. Neither of them were the victims here. They deserved each other. Final thoughts. I never reconnected with Ryan. I didn't care when I heard about his marriage problems. I didn't care when I heard he and Emily finally divorced a year later, because by then, I had fully moved on. Ryan made his choices, and in the end, karma took care of the rest.